Welcome to this training video on supporting middle school students with severe deaf-blindness. In adolescence, students experience major changes in academics, communication needs, peer interactions, and emotional development. For students with severe combined vision and hearing loss, these changes can feel overwhelming without the right support. In this video, we will explore what severe deaf-blindness looks like in middle school learners, the major intervention areas to prioritize, and how strong home, school collaboration creates consistent, meaningful progress. This resource is intended for special educators, primary teachers transitioning to secondary grades, and school counselors who are committed to building accessible, inclusive learning environments. Severe deaf-blindness is characterized by very limited use of both vision and hearing. A student may detect some light, shapes, or motion, or hear certain pitches or loud sounds, but not enough to rely on these senses for typical communication or learning. Students with severe deaf-blindness may rely primarily on touch, movement, vibration, and familiar routines, have difficulty accessing spoken language or visual symbols without adaptation, become overwhelmed in busy, noisy, or unpredictable environments, communicate through gestures, hand movements, facial tension, changes in breathing, or body shifts, require individualized support to transition between classes, take more time to process new sensory information, depend heavily on trusted adults and consistent routines. In middle school, academic content becomes more abstract and social life more complex. Students with severe deaf-blindness may struggle with understanding academic concepts presented verbally or visually, navigating the school independently, forming age-appropriate peer relationships, coping with sensory overload or transitions, expressing complex emotions or needs. Understanding these challenges is the foundation for effective intervention. Communication is a primary focus for students with severe deaf-blindness. These students learn best through tactile, repetitive, and relationship-based communication systems. Effective supports include hand-under-hand exploration, inviting students to join without forcing their hands, tangible symbols representing activities, such as a key for going outside or a piece of fabric for sensory room. Touch cues, signaling transitions or actions through consistent touch patterns. Tactile sign or object-based communication, adapted to the individual's sensory needs. Coactive movement, where the educator and student move their hands together through an activity. Establishing predictable interaction routines, such as tactile greetings or shared movement games. These supports help students build trust, understand expectations, and participate more fully. Students with severe deaf-blindness experience the world through their remaining senses, and these can be highly sensitive. Key strategies include creating calm, structured spaces with reduced visual and auditory clutter. Introducing activities slowly, allowing the student to process new sensations. Using consistent sensory cues for transitions, like textured cards or specific touch patterns. Offering sensory regulation tools such as deep pressure, vibration, slow rocking, weighted items, or calming fidgets. Recognizing signs of overload, such as turning away, stiffening, or withdrawal, and responding immediately. Environmental stability helps students feel safe and ready to learn. Academic learning for students with severe deaf-blindness is most effective when hands-on, functional, and embedded in meaningful routines. Strategies include real objects to teach concepts, textures, shapes, tools, or utensils. Story boxes, where objects represent the characters, actions, and themes of a story. Embedding literacy and math in natural routines, matching objects, counting items during cooking, exploring textures while sorting materials. Presenting lessons through touch-based exploration, using slow, predictable pacing. Repeating concepts across multiple settings to promote understanding. The focus is on meaningful engagement, not abstract assignments. Middle school environments require increasing independence, and students with severe deaf-blindness need tailored support to navigate safely. O&M strategies include teaching students to use tactile landmarks, textured mats, railings, or floor transitions to orient themselves, practicing predictable routes to classrooms, restrooms, and lunch areas, using coactive movement to model walking paths or transitions, gradually releasing support as the student gains confidence, reinforcing body awareness through movement activities like stretching, pushing, or exploring objects through touch. Consistency helps the student develop a mental map of the school. Social development is crucial in middle school, and students with severe deaf-blindness need help forming meaningful, safe relationships. Supports include structured tactile or parallel peer activities, consistent emotional check-ins using tactile cues, helping peers understand how the student communicates, recognizing the student's emotional signals, changes in movement, body tension or vocalizations, patience, warmth, and predictable routines to build trust. Strong collaboration between home and school is essential to supporting students with severe deaf-blindness. Families often have critical information about the student's communication signals and preferences, triggers for stress or comfort, sensory routines that work well at home, mobility patterns, medical or physical needs that affect daily participation. This information helps educators individualize support. Effective collaboration strategies. Maintain daily communication logs using pictures, tactile symbols, or short summaries. Share consistent touch cues, communication symbols, and routines used at school. Offer families updates on progress, challenges, and new strategies. Invite families to demonstrate the student's preferred communication style. Co-create goals during IEP meetings to ensure shared expectations. Coordinate on medical, sensory, and behavioral supports for consistency. When educators and families communicate regularly, students experience smoother transitions and better learning outcomes. Middle school students with severe deaf-blindness are capable, curious learners who thrive with patient, individualized, and sensory-rich support. By providing tactile communication systems, predictable environments, functional academic experiences, and strong home, school partnerships, we create opportunities for meaningful connection, learning, and growth. Thank you for your dedication to inclusive education and for your commitment to supporting every learner with respect, compassion, and expertise.